Do you ever find self-awareness exhausting? I was asked that in a comment on a recent video I posted on my channel. Do you ever find self-awareness exhausting? I thought that was such a beautifully simple question that I thought a lot of people could relate to. So that's what we're talking about today. I'm Taylor, the sheepish goat, and you're watching the channel. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is an interesting thing because while everybody has it, it feels like most people don't. I think in some capacity it comes with a pressure. It comes with a pressure of perfectionism, frankly. And to answer the question, I think we need to talk about perfectionism. But to start with an answer is, yes, self-awareness can be exhausting. But I don't know if I really feel that way anymore. And that's because I've addressed some certain things within myself that allowed me to feel differently about how I view myself, what those introspective thoughts actually are, and how they're framed to benefit me, maybe not hurt me. For me, perfectionism has plagued my entire life. I never felt good enough. I never could be enough. It led to feelings of stagnation where I was so self-critical that I could never even start tasks. I would want to make a channel, for example. I wanted to make this channel for such a long time, and I needed the perfect idea to start. I've had projects on this channel. I even made a video sort of about perfectionism before. Perfectionism versus creative evolution. I think that's still a good video, so check it out if you want to hear any more on this topic. But I spent like 180 hours on a piece of art, and I didn't even finish it. I just got through the line art because my perfectionism wouldn't let me stop. I had to fight to be perfect all the time because the perception of being perfect mattered more than my happiness. Perfectionism led me to resentment, and it led me to anger. Anger at myself and anger at other people because perfectionism is unattainable. We hold on so much, we try to be basically this God force in our own life where we're like, I know it's unrealistic to think that I can do this perfect every single time, but I'm gonna fucking try. And we do try. And because we try so hard, we cling on to that control so tightly, it doesn't just impact us. It impacts everyone else around us. So yes, there is anger that might be directed at other people because they're not doing good enough. And if they don't do good enough, I don't do good enough. And guess what? I can't fail. So anger does go on to other people. But if you have any sort of introspection, then you might feel anger towards yourself because maybe you don't want to act that way. Maybe you resent the fact that you act that way. You resent your perfectionism because maybe you feel like you don't want to be that. Maybe it feels misaligned with who you are. And you don't want to cause stress to other people. If you have any sort of introspection, you probably know exactly what it feels like to have that stress on yourself, that exhaustion, right? It's anxiety. It is overwhelming. And I think self-awareness, introspection, is generally started in that way. For me, I think self-awareness started at a very young age. I didn't feel capable of not being perfect because I felt the normal me was criticized. I felt the normal me was too much and had to feel smaller. So because I felt that way, I didn't want to be me, right? Like, example, it was a highlight for me is like, I would go bowling as a kid. I don't know if it's something many people do when they're older, unless you're on a league or something, but I remember going bowling for birthday parties or any kind of event, and every time I would be terrible. I was never good at sports. And I would roll the ball, and because my hand-eye coordination was always terrible, it would go in the gutter. And people would want to critique me. People would want to tell me how to do it right. But I would be so upset. I would be so self-critical because I did terrible, and then people saw me do bad, and then I felt resentment, and I felt insecure because then people were going to have to take the time to explain things to me. And this perfectionism was overwhelming. It made me become emotional and break down, maybe not want to listen to people, maybe not want to take advice or ask for help. And it trickled through every aspect of my life. It's exhausting to feel perfect. As I said, when you spend 180 hours on a piece of art, you might feel a little exhausted because you're putting everything you have into this one thing. And it might not even be something you even care about. Often I think perfectionism is so tied to the identity of not failing that it even takes over the things that we don't really have that much interest in. Because if someone's going to see it, then we have to be better. We have to do more, even if we don't care that much about it. There's this internal expectation, regardless if it's directly vocalized to us from someone else. Inside, it is overwhelming, and inside, it puts us down. So when we have this self-awareness, like I said, from a young age, generally what happens is it starts from this really critical point. You see how other people are viewing you, and you think, man, I don't want this. I don't want people to talk bad about me, or I don't want people to criticize me, or I don't want people to have to explain things to me. So you become extremely critical, and you shut down. Maybe you're not aware of that at first, but the more time goes on, this self-awareness becomes a hindrance. I've talked about this before, but it's every way in which you can't be, not every way in which you can be. It minimizes you. And in that way, it is exhausting. Self-awareness can be very exhausting because all you're doing is looking at all of these rules, all of these regulations, the subjugation you're forcing upon yourself. But I want to talk about perfectionism a little bit more because I want to talk about how covertly it can hit you. People might not be forcing this on you directly, but that doesn't mean someone has to say, be perfect in order for you to feel that you have to be perfect. This is an example that I had recently with my mom. You're welcome, Mom. You know what? I'll say this about my mom. My mom does an excellent job of listening to what I have to say. And even if it makes her uncomfortable, she would rather have me talk. And I appreciate that. So thank you, Mom. I'm not crying. Anyway, asserting boundaries for myself has been hard. It's been an ongoing practice that I've been implementing for a while since I started therapy. I've been in therapy for 6 months. I've been working on myself for 2.5 years, if not longer. So, it's a journey. It's a lifetime. But it doesn't mean it's bad. I had a recent interaction with my mom where I've told her before that I don't want her anxiety. I don't want her perfectionism to reflect onto me and make me feel like I have to live up to her own feelings, her own desire for perfection. So recently I reformatted some of my channel. I made a new picture for my page. I made a new bio. I made a new banner for my page. And these were things I wanted to do for a while because I felt like they didn't really align with me anymore. I felt like the old representation I put on my page was me in a moment, and it was me that was much more insecure and self-critical. So I redid these things. Took me some time because I was like putting it off because I was nervous. I'm like, oh God, I want it to do well, and then it feels like it's a lot. I ended up doing it. I really liked it. Within 10 minutes of me posting it on my page, my mom saw it. Maybe because she was watching my videos, I don't know. But she saw it within 10 minutes of me posting it. And she messages me, and it's nice, and she says she really likes it. And then she says, oh, by the way, I noticed a typo. It should be this, not this. I told her that, thank you, but next time don't tell me. Because perfectionism isn't something that I had longer... Because perfectionism isn't something that I will longer tolerate within my life. It does not have a place within my life anymore. Perfectionism, even though it feels overwhelming, even though it feels like it's tied to the root, even though it feels like we have to hold on so tightly because we can't let people see us, we can't be seen as failures. We can't be seen as weak. We have to be in control. But I told my mama, because we had a conversation about it after the fact, I was like, she was talking to me and she said that her perfectionism is different. And she's like, she knew intuitively that she probably shouldn't have said something, but she didn't anyway because she thought I would want to know because she would want to know. I was like, Mom, our perfectionism isn't different. Our perfection is the same. The difference is that I choose not to be perfect anymore. And because I choose not to be perfect anymore, because I know that there's a typo in the bio for my channel, I will never change that bio. I will never correct that typo. Because for me, being perfect fucking sucks. Being perfect is a crock of shit that is stuck to the identity of who we have to be, and I don't want the constraint. I choose not to believe it. I choose to be free of perfectionism. Because perfectionism is a choice. It feels like it's not. But if you say, hey, I don't want to be perfect. I just want to be me. And I want to know that I'm accepted as being me. And the hard part is that until you actually allow yourself to do that, you're not going to be you. You're living in the false idea of who you are. You're living in the perfectionism. It might be a hard choice, but it's a choice that you have to make in order to have acceptance for yourself and allow yourself to grow and get outside of that perfect little bubble, that perfect little fungo pop of who you are. People don't look like this, damn it. And you don't have to either. But perfectionism is that mold. It is that finite example of who you have to be. So choosing to not be perfect was huge for me. And through my self-help, it allowed me to get out of this perfectionistic mindset and rid myself of the expectation and the overly critical sense of self-awareness. You know, today self-awareness is entirely different. And perhaps on the screen right now, I'll be showing you a drawing that I made recently. It's the first drawing that I've drawn in months because I sort of gave up drawing for a while and videos for a while, but drawing was tied to my identity. Some of the earliest videos on this channel were tied to my identity and wanting to be seen and making videos that I thought were worthy or people cared about. This is one of the first drawings I've made in a very long time. And I did it of a person in my life that I truly care about who has impacted me a great deal. But I did it from memory. And I did it from memory because I didn't want perfectionism to play a role. And while it's done now, my brain still wants me to go back and critique it because I know it's not perfect. But the thing is that when I look at it, it spawns the feelings and the emotion that I think of when I see this person. It makes me feel exactly what I wanted because that was the intention when I made it. It wasn't for it to be a perfect representation of the person. It was to spark the feelings that I have. And that's exactly what it does. So even though my brain says, go back, spend another 10 hours on it, I won't do that. Because perfectionism doesn't rule my life now. What rules my life now is feeling. Today, my self-awareness is living for feeling. It's not for praise. It's not for, you did a good job. You're a human printer. Or you did that message so perfectly clear. You didn't stumble. You didn't have to stop and restart your speak at any point in that video. You're just so precise. I'm allowed to fail. You're allowed to fail. One of the biggest aha moments, the cliche breakthrough in therapy that I had was around failure. I really wanted to do something. And because of me paying attention and listening to all the signs around me and taking social cues, I didn't do the thing I wanted to do. And when I didn't do it, I felt terrible. I had this overwhelming feeling inside that I failed, that I missed an opportunity, that I let myself down because I had really worked myself up to the idea. The ironic part is that I felt so bad that I realized that what I had wanted to do was not aligned with what I really should be doing. It was this false idea of what I wanted. It wasn't real. And I realized in failing, I grew so much more as a person. Because failure relates to growth. Failure is how we learn. Success, constant success, is disgusting. Frankly. We want it, of course. It's validation. It's that dopamine hit. It's abundance. It's everything that we hope for. But to get it constantly is a false sense of security. It's the nepotism babies of the world. It's the people who have the world on a silver platter who have no moral or ethical understanding because everything is easy. Life isn't easy. Life is hard. And we shouldn't have false expectations of what it's supposed to be. If the world is lying to us all the time, then we're lying to ourselves. So when I look at self-awareness today, do I find self-awareness exhausting? No. No, not at all. Today I'm excited to grow. Everything I go through, everything I learn is growth, is an opportunity to become a better version of myself because I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I'm at this point and I can get here. And that makes me excited. That means that I can try and I can put myself out online and it doesn't have to be the exact thing it has to be because it'll eventually become that thing. Because time changes. People, all wounds. People grow. Life grows. It evolves. Explaining things to people, explaining emotions, explaining things to people who aren't aware, who are stuck in that perfectionism, who are stuck in this rigid mindset, that can be exhausting. But living authentically, trying to find the best version of yourself, not through this perfectionistic lens, not through critique, but through practical understanding. To say, we might not have done that the perfect way this time, but next time we can try this. Next time we can do this better. It's not that I didn't do a good job. It's not that I sucked this time. It's not like I failed. But even if I did, failure's good. Failure's growth. So self-awareness, perfectionism, growth. I don't think it's exhausting. I find it pretty fun, honestly. And I hope you do too. But until next time, everybody. See you then. Love you. Bye. Hi. I'm going to record this one without the mic on screen because I don't like it on screen. We're going to see how that sounds. So if this one sounds bad, I've done all I can do. And there's no more. So I apologize. I know, Quoth. It's hard.